From fulfilling a childhood imagination to catching the last train from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, discovering authentic Filipino flavors in the heart of the city, to experiencing a high-tech capsule hotel, and capping it all off with a night walk through the streets of Tel Aviv. After exploring the city of David, we went straight to a place Paul really wanted to visit. Because of a structure Nene often mentioned during their evening novenas when he was a kid. I'm talking about the Tower of David located in an ancient citadel. 10 minutes walk from Jaffa Gate entrance on the western edge of the Old City. Before, entrance was inside the Old City near Jaffa Gate. This new entrance, part of the museum's recent $50 million upgrade, is now outside the walls and directly accessible from Amila Road. The Tower of David Citadel stands at the crossroads of Old and New Jerusalem. The tour begins at Gallery 1, titled On the Shore of Eternity. On the Shore of Eternity is a poetic nod to Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai, who famously wrote, "Jerusalem is a port city on the shore of eternity." Despite its name Tower of David, it has no direct connection to King David. Originally one of Herod's towers, misnamed Tower of David during the Byzantine Christians who mistakenly associated the site with the biblical King David. Today, the Tower of David houses the Tower of David Museum, which showcases the history of Jerusalem. Reopened in June 2023, featuring 10 innovative galleries after the renovation and upgrade. It showcases 3,000 years of Jerusalem's history using interactive displays, archaeological finds, video art, and films. Key features include archaeological discoveries and ancient artifacts, a 19th century model showing Jerusalem's expansion, animated presentations of religious holidays by David Polonsky, and entrance installation by filmmaker Ari Folman. It also includes 2 galleries for rotating contemporary exhibitions. Stepping out of Gallery 1, we found ourselves in the museum's open courtyard, a central space surrounded by the ancient stone walls of the citadel. This area connects different parts of the Tower of David and gives visitors a moment to pause and take in the historical atmosphere. We wonder how these perfectly round stones ended up here. With the citadel's long history from Herodian to Roman, Byzantine, Islamic, Crusader, Mamluk, Ottoman, and British Mandate times, they could have been left behind from any of those periods. The remnants of Faziel Tower is immediately visible from here. Built by Herod himself, it is one of the 3 original towers that once guarded his palace in Jerusalem. The Faziel Tower, named after King Herod's brother, is the largest and most prominent tower in the Tower of David complex. It offers panoramic views of the Old City and has served as a key defensive structure throughout history. The other 2 towers, Hippicus, named after Herod's friend, and Marimi, named after his wife, no longer stand today. Over the centuries, they were either destroyed, buried, or incorporated into later structures, leaving the Phasael Tower as the best preserved and most recognizable remnant of Herod's fortress. The Phasael, Hippicus, and Mariamneh towers are not mentioned in the Bible but are linked to King Herod, who was the king during Jesus' birth and built them as part of his grand palace and fortress in Jerusalem. The Tower of David Museum features 10 permanent galleries, each numbered and thematically designed to present the city's history, culture, and spirituality. It begins at Gallery 1 on the shores of eternity, featuring an immersive timeline that traces over 3,000 years of Jerusalem's story. Galleries 2 to 4 explore Judaism, Christianity, and Islam's deep connections to the city. Gallery 5, Circle of the Year, presents an artistic calendar showcasing the religious festivals of the three faiths. In Gallery 6, the Tower of David, visitors learn about the history and architecture of the citadel itself. Gallery 7, the gallery ties together artifacts from different periods in Jerusalem's past. Gallery 8, Bird's Eye View, features a detailed 3D model of Jerusalem as it appeared in the 19th century. Gallery 9, Tower of David Museum, refers to the historic guardrooms within the citadel, now repurposed as exhibition spaces. Finally, Gallery 10, Eyes Toward Zion, offers visual storytelling through films and photographs, capturing how Jerusalem has been viewed and remembered across generations. Here we were, looking at the Tower of David minaret. This felt like the fulfillment of Paul's childhood curiosity. As a child, he often pictured a tower as the very Tower of David Nene always mentioned during their evening prayers. Although the Bible doesn't describe an actual Tower of David, this minaret became the tower in his imagination, a powerful symbol connecting his memories. The minaret is a slender tower added during the Islamic period, historically used as the place from which the Muslim call to prayer, or Adhan, was announced. It wasn't part of the original Herodian fortress built by King Herod. Rather, it reflects the city's Mamluk-era Islamic heritage, constructed centuries after the original fortress. The base of the Tower of David minaret dates back to the Mamluk period, but the structure we see today was built by the Ottomans in the 17th century. Sometimes childhood imaginations don't need to be historically accurate to feel real. For Paul, this moment was enough. Standing here, looking up at this minaret, felt like finally meeting the tower his younger self had always pictured. Even if the Bible never described a real Tower of David, and even if this structure was built much later by the Ottomans, in his childhood heart, it was as if the tower from Nene's prayers had always been waiting here. A reminder that some childhood dreams don't need to be perfect, they just need to be experienced. From the minaret, we made our way to the observation deck. Up here, we were greeted by sweeping views of Jerusalem, an incredible sight that stretches across the old and the new. Looking back, with the current challenges in the region, having the chance to visit the old city felt even more meaningful. It reminded us how rare and precious moments like these are, walking through a place so rich in history, faith, and culture amid ongoing tensions. Reflecting on that experience now, we feel grateful we were able to witness the beauty and resilience of Jerusalem, a city that continues to inspire despite everything. We also took the time to visit the Fazil Tower. Our last stop was Gallery 10, Eyes Towards Zion, where we took a moment to relax before leaving the Tower of David. The exit led us directly into the old city, where the narrow streets and ancient walls embraced us once again. After hours of walking, we rewarded ourselves with a cup of freshly made pomegranate juice, rich, red, and perfectly refreshing. We then made our way back to our hostel, a place with original stone ceilings and walls that have been passed down through generations of the family who lived there. Backed at Jerusalem Yitzhak Navon Station. It was time to wrap up our trip to the old city, Jerusalem. Since it was a Friday, we had to be mindful of the train schedule. Train service to Tel Aviv stops before Shabbat begins, and the last train from Jerusalem's Yitzhak Navon Station departs around 3:30 p.m., about 3 hours before sundown. If we miss it, we'll need to find another way to get to Tel Aviv. On the train, we happened to meet a fellow Filipino who works in Israel as a caregiver. He also got off at Haganah rail station and showed us the Central Bus Station Mall, just a 9-minute walk away, where we found some great Filipino food. We reached this section where there were so many Filipinos, it felt like we were back in the Philippines. Everywhere you looked, there were Filipino food products, from fresh vegetables to home-cooked meals. He told us this is how it is here, especially on Fridays. It's like a Filipino Tiangge that comes to life every weekend. Having lived in Dubai for some time, we've tasted a lot of Filipino food. But here at the Central Bus Station, the food truly tasted like home lutong pinas in every bite. We weren't sure if it was because we had been traveling for so long and really missed Filipino food, or if the flavors here genuinely captured the authentic taste we grew up with. Either way, it was a meal that truly hit home. We prioritized our stomach and missed the last bus and had to take a shirt. The shirt our kabayan recommended didn't pass near our hotel, so we got off at the nearest stop along the route and took a taxi to reach our hotel. That's when we learned from the taxi driver that in Tel Aviv, not all streets are easily accessible even for taxis. Sometimes, even if your destination is just 2 blocks away, you still have to take a much longer route. Even drivers often rely on navigation apps to avoid restricted streets, since getting around can be tricky. The Wom Beach Pod Hotel Capsule I booked was surprisingly has high-tech access. Everything was controlled through the Wom app. We check in, enter our pod, and even access the bathrooms and common areas using our phone. The large mirror inside made a big difference. It made the small space feel more open. Plenty of power sockets. Very high ceiling. This is where our capsule neighbor's bed is. very spacious bed. There was even a sink inside the pod. It was our first time staying in a capsule hotel, and we truly felt blessed with the one we found. The ambience, amenities, and cleanliness, which we'll feature in another video, really made us feel comfortable. It wasn't just a place to crash, we genuinely relaxed and recharged after our long days of travel. We really took our time and enjoyed the shower. The water pressure was strong and refreshing, just what we needed after a long day. Each guest is assigned access to 2 common bathrooms. Throughout our stay, it was never crowded or constantly in use. This huge bed is so inviting. Comfy sleepers provided too. It was our first time in a capsule hotel, and we were really happy with this one, even though finding the place was a bit tricky since the building didn't have a proper sign. After finally getting the rest we truly needed, we decided to go for a night walk. Wome Beach Pod by Brown Hotel is located right in front of Charles Clore Beach within this building. Instead of exploring the beach area right in front of the hotel, we ended up walking along Yusuf Levi Street, Yitzhak Elhanan Street, and so on. Along the way, we barely saw anyone, just a handful of people. Maybe it was because it was Friday, or maybe the area is always that quiet at night. It was only after about 20 minutes of walking that we finally reached a street where we saw more people, some life and activities starting to show.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit bell button to Paul Tonet for more videos.